Hello everyone, and I welcome you all again to the new episode of the topic of the week, bulldoze. So today I am going to discuss the most talked about topic in the past week, which is related to Mahabharat of Maharashtra. So Maharashtra political crisis has actually geared up after the news came up regarding the Uddhav Thackeray, who is the current Chief Minister of Maharashtra. He has left the CM residence. So, what is happening in Maharashtra and why these events have actually gone too far? Who is Eknath Shinde? So, we all are going to cover these questions in this episode. So, please kindly stay tuned and let's get started. So, this Maharashtrian Mahabharat actually started from 2019 elections. In 2019, the Maharashtra Assembly elections were held. In the Maharashtra Assembly, there are in total 289 seats. Out of this seat, one is a nominated member seat, which ideally means that this seat is not going to be contested for. So there are in total 288 seats for which all the parties were contesting. And the candidates have to contest for a required number of seats. To make a government in Maharashtra, a party has to form a majority of 145 seats, which is derived as follows. So out of total number of seats has to be divided by 2, which comes 144 plus 1. So this is how you're going to make a government in the assembly. So here, as we can see, that in 2019 elections, BJP has won 105 seats. The Uddhav Thackeray led Shiv Sena has got 56 seats. The Congress party has got 44 seats. And Sharad Pawar led NCP has got 54 seats. However, the CPN, which is Communist Party, Marxist, and Raj Thackeray led MNS party has got 1 seat each. And there were other independent MLAs who were totaling 27 seats in the 2019 elections. So it is quite clear here that only BJP was getting the maximum number of seats, but not enough to form the government in Maharashtra. So let's just know what these parties are and what are their ideologies. We already know about BJP and Congress. Let's just know what is Shiv Sena party. So Shiv Sena party is actually a right-wing Marathi regionalist party, and it is highly Hindu ultra-nationalist political party. So it was established in 1966 by the cartoonist, journalist and political activist late Shri Balkeshav Thackeray. Because of its fundamentalist ideology and Hindutva philosophy, it is sometimes also called as a fascist party, extremist or chauvinist party. Due to its high staunch in the Hinduism, its ideology were very similar with the BJP's Hinduism, which is why in Maharashtra, Shiv Sena has always supported BJP. But this didn't happen in 2019 elections. In 2019 elections, the BJP party did not get the support from Shiv Sena due to the CM candidate name, as Uddhav Thackeray himself wanted to be the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, whereas on the other hand, BJP wanted Mr. Devendra Fadnavis to be the Chief Minister. So this has actually made the Shiv Sena losing its alliance with BJP, and on the other hand, Shiv Sena has got support from the Sharad Pawar led NCP and the Congress party. So I hope you remember now that 56 seats of Shiv Sena and 54 seats of NCP along with the 44 seats of Congress has counted total 154 seats to the coalition government. So these three parties have of course they came together and formed the ruling government in the Maharashtra. So by the 2019 we saw that there were 15 other seats So by the time of 2019, we saw that 15 more MLAs, they joined this coalition, and this coalition was named as Maha Vikas Aghadi. And by the time of 2021, 6 more MLAs also joined the ruling party, which made the count of 175 seats to this ruling government. So the numbers are very important here, as these numbers play very big role in deciding who is going to be the ruling party or who is going to be the opposition. So here by 2021, it was quite clear that the coalition government was running smoothly. But the discontentment among the MLAs has started to show during the elections. So what exactly has happened on June 22 and why this crisis has actually gained so much of momentum? So this discontentment among the MLAs was first shown during the Maharashtra Rajya Sabha elections in June 2022. So during the Rajya Sabha elections, the BJP government has bagged 3 out of 6 seats. So during that time, this coalition, even the Congress party, Shiv, Sena and NCP leaders, they actually they were very disappointed with their performance in the Rajya Sabha elections, and they even blamed themselves for this discontentment or a miscommunication among their leaders. However, this again followed the same suit during the Maharashtra Legislative Council elections. So during the council elections, it was expected that the BJP government is only going to win 4 out of 10 seats. But surprisingly or even shockingly, BJP has secured 5 out of 10 seats in Maharashtra Legislative Council elections. So these two elections, which were held in the same month, Maharashtra Rajya Sabha elections and Maharashtra Legislative Council elections, and in both elections it was quite clear that there were cross votings. So cross votings means when a member or MLA of one party is actually voting for the other party. So this is called as cross voting. So there were high chances or high stances of cross voting being recognized or being acknowledged in the MLC as well as Rajya Sabha elections, which has actually created a lot of discontent among the party leaders as well. So on June 22, it was kind of found that Eknath Shinde along with some of the Shiv Sena MLAs were found missing. They were exactly not missing, rather they were in the hotel in Surat and they were maybe camping something. So during this camping, it was found out that they were actually staging against the Shiv Sena party or this coalition government. So this staging up has exceeded to a limit that now Eknath Shinde is actually backed by 42 MLAs according to the recent report. So 42 MLAs along with Mr. Eknath Shinde are actually camping from Guwahati, and they have clearly passed on their message to Uddhav Thackeray that if Uddhav Thackeray continued with this coalition government, they are going to back out from this party and they are going to club or they are going to merge with the BJP party. So let us understand why this is happening. See, Shiv Sena, according to its ideology, is very much similar to the BJP party. And ever since, Bal Thackeray has actually formed this government, they have made their mark that they are going to support BJP because of its Hinduism ideology. So, during the Bal Thackeray's term, of course, they always maintained their ultra-national, approach towards BJP and always supported it. But Uddhav Thackeray has actually betrayed its own party members by joining the hands with the Congress, which is again the opposition, or it is of course an enemy to the BJP. So it's enemy's enemy, you are becoming friend to him. So which is why some of the MLAs, they were not very happy in the first hand with the Uddhav Thackeray's decision of forming the government with Congress and NCP. So which is why after 2.5 years of discontentment among the MLAs, finally they have taken a step and they are staging against the current coalition. So after this news came up that Eknath Shinde along with some of the MLAs, they are camping against the coalition, finally Uddhav Thackeray came up and has actually, he has actually called for notice against the rebel MLAs so that they can be actually being declared or they can be punished under the anti-defection law. So ideally, it is not very common among the parties to defect or to betray its own party and get merged with the other party or with the opposition party. So here we have an anti-defection law which actually protects the rights or interest of the current ruling party so that we can actually control, we can actually push the corruption out from this parliamentarism. So speaking of the anti-defection law in this case, so currently the Deputy Speaker of the State Legislative Assembly of Maharashtra, Narhari Zirwal, he has issued the notice to 16 Shiv Sena MLAs of the Eknath Shinde faction. So again, this anti-defection law, as I had mentioned, this is to punish the MLAs for leaving one party for the another. So speaking of this anti-defection law, so under the 52nd amendment, via the 52nd amendment in 1985, the anti-defection law, it's 85, the anti-defection law was put under the 10th schedule, which is popularly known as the Anti-Defection Act. So it was included in the constitution and sets the provisions for the disqualification of the elected members on the grounds of defection to another party. However, even if you can be punished under the anti-defection law, but still there is one particular count, there is one clause through which this anti-defection law can be jumped. And this is if the two-third of the political party, if the two-third members of a political party, they actually give their assent to form or merge with the another party, then they can actually cross over the anti-defection law. And here, if I actually see the numbers, so out of 56 seats of the Shiv Sena, currently 42 MLAs are actually giving its support to Eknath Shinde, which means now Uddhav Thackeray in itself in the Shiv Sena is actually running a minority party, because ideally 42 MLAs, they have actually shown their discontentment with the Shiv Sena leader Uddhav Thackeray. So which is why now he himself is not in the clear majority. So this anti-defection law is currently, as far as the current scenario is concerned, is actually being jumped over by Eknath Shinde very smartly. So as I had discussed that at least two-thirds of the members of the party will have to show the defect to merge with the another party if they do not want to attract any penalty, and this was added in the 10th schedule under the 91st Constitutional Amendment Act 2003. So here, as you can see this map, so ideally now Shiv Sena, Eknath Shinde, he has in total 42 MLAs with him, which means that now the Uddhav Thackeray is it is leading only 14 MLAs right now, along with the NCP 54 members and Congress 44 members. So now what if these 42 MLAs, they actually give the support to the BJP? Of course, as you can see, if these 42 MLAs of Eknath Shinde, if they give support to BJP, so it is going to cross the minimum seats required to form the ruling government, which is 145. right? So only 145 seats are required to form a government in Maharashtra. And what if Eknath Shinde gives his full support to BJP, right? So it is high chances are there now that BJP is going to make the government. But it is not that easy. Of course, there will be a no confidence motion first to be, in the coming days. We are projecting that now the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly will foresee the no confidence motion now. So no confidence motion, as far as our constitution is concerned, so there are no particular article, no particular acts are related to it. But yes, definitely we have, the government can introduce it in the legislative assemblies, right? So a motion of no confidence can be admitted with the minimum number of 50 members which support the motion in the house, and the speaker, if satisfied that the motion is in order, will ask the house if the motion can be adopted or not. Ultimately, the no confidence motion is that we have lost the trust within the government, or the government is not actually performing as per the constitutional acts and is losing the majority in the legislative assembly. So once the no confidence motion is passed in the assembly will be dissolved. Once the assembly will be dissolved, it will foresee the floor test as well, which means that it will give another chance to the Uddhav Thackeray led government to pass the floor test. So floor test is kind of a litmus test which is proposed, or which is of course declared by the governor of the state. So again, amidst this Maharashtrian political crisis, the governor's decision to the floor test is now at the center stage. So Article 174 of the Indian Constitution, it authorizes the governor to summon, to dissolve, and to basically provocate the state legislative assembly. And even under this article, it gives power to the governor to dissolve the assembly also, on the advice of the cabinet, if of course the cabinet fails to prove its majority in the assembly. Then on the aid, or even on the advice of cabinet, the governor can dissolve the legislative assembly as well. So floor test is a term which is used to test the majority, and if there are any doubts against the chief minister, then he or she can be asked to prove the majority in the house. And in case of the coalition government, if the CM may be asked to prove his confidence amongst all his members in the party, or to actually prove the vote of confidence and win the majority again. So this is not the first time that we are actually overseeing the no confidence motion or the floor test in the assemblies. Prior to Maharashtra government, we had seen in Kerala, in Telangana, Karnataka, Haryana, so several times, and even in the Lok Sabha also, we actually had several examples in the past where the no confidence motion has been passed, or even the governments have been actually, they've been down due to this, due to their failure in the floor test. So this floor test is actually a kind of a Agni Pariksha to all the ruling parties, which they have to pass to continue their term in the power, right? So currently, as we all know, that the governor may exercise its power here in the Maharashtra case, and if it does, then definitely Uddhav Thackeray will have to prove its majority in the assembly. Otherwise, it is going to lose as the chief minister. So we are overseeing a lot of events in the coming weeks. Maybe there will be no confidence motion passed, there will be a floor test in the legislative assemblies, some leaders may back out, or they may even continue giving its support to Uddhav Thackeray. So a lot is being pipelined for the coming weeks, and yes, definitely this is actually showing that how the governments overnight can see a a dawn in their power era, right? So that is all for today. I hope you like this video regarding the Maharashtra Mahabharat. So I am leaving up to you who according to you is the Kauravas and the Pandavas in this Mahabharat. And it is very interesting to understand who is the Lord Krishna in this Mahabharat. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please do share this video to your friends or to any other who is also preparing for any competitive exam, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Thank you so much everyone.